truth.
Can't handle it. Can't handle the truth. Welcome to the Morning Market Report, guys. This is the Piper Academy Network. I'm Army Piper, and we got red. We've got a lot of red today. A lot of sell-off going on with the markets right now. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, guys, we're sitting at this little level of support that we've been talking about right here. It's this point of control and this value area low. And we had this nice little scam wick down, and then it pulled back up to that point of control. We're going to take a look at what these markets might be doing. We're 24 hours out today from the Jerome Powell speech and the rate decision, which is very likely going to be a rate pause. We've talked about this many times here on the Academy Morning Market Show, guys. And so looking at that stuff, we also had a trade deficit today. We're going to be looking at that, the balance of trades, they call it, imports versus exports. Guys, record number came in today, basically saying, yeah, it's not looking good on the deficit side for those trade numbers. And then what was the other thing? CME gaps. We've got two CME gaps to fill, one above us and one below us. The question is which one is going to be filled first? But you guys know what time it is. It's time to get this thing going. We're going to break all this down and more today on the Morning Market Report. Take your seats. Take your seats. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report, guys. I got to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Crypto Coin Mindset, Wix Wife Fine 89, everybody that's in there. Shout out to all you guys. But let's go ahead and bring up the co-host, OC guy. OC, do you know that I've gone on 3 trips with 3 team members from Piper Academy in the history of this show? One of them was down to Mexico with you. We went scuba diving when you proposed to your beautiful, beautiful fiance. And then I went on a trip in December for around Christmas time to Disney with Crux of Crypto. And then I went on a cruise with Tradefly. Crux left the show. Tradefly left the show. You are my only loyal friend. And I see people in the background making smirks. But we're going to the Bitcoin conference soon, and the whole team is going to be there. So you're the only one not going, and you've already made it through a vacation. I am looking like it's going to be just me and you on this channel after the Bitcoin conference, based on historical trends. That's what I do. But no, evidently, if you put that stuff on X, your friends feel guilty and they want to come out and hang out with you. So, guys, let's go ahead and bring up the full trio today. Tradefly is in the house. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? You're muted.
I know I'm muted. I was trying to get off mute. I don't know why I was on mute, but dude, come on, man. Come on. One, that had nothing to do with why I came on the show this morning. It was the satchel, okay? It was the satchel. The guy had a man purse on a cruise.
Tactical crossbody bag, Tradefly.
Could not get over it. Like, it was a deal breaker for me. And for that reason, I had to go on my own.
And for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, man.
Man. Right. What's up, dude? How you doing? Dude, I gotta make jabs at you when you come back to the show, bro. You know, it's like you can't just have an empty seat over there getting covered in dust. I at least dusted off your seat before you sat down.
Nice.
No, it's good to have you here, man.
I appreciate that. Hey, man, let me give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's do this.
That's why I stopped. I was going through the names and I stopped. I was like, wait a minute, this is Tradefly's part. Go for it, Tradefly. What you got for us?
That is it. Let's get it rolling. All right, we got Mike Palmer in the chat. Crypto Billy, my dude, what is up? Shake and bake, baby. Pigeon Town Smooth, how you doing? Crypto Coin Mindset, thank you very much for yesterday. He actually sent people from his show over to mine. That's the first time anyone's ever done that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ninja Glock, what's up? Zinzin, Rijin, how you doing? Roman Brave, all right, scrolling down. And my dude, username, just letting the ribs flow in the chat, of course. We got Robert Mulligan, Wix Wife Fine 89. She is now a moderator on my show. We got XYZ 0X or ZYX. Man, that's a tongue twister. GM to you, brother. Hope all is well. We got my man Buck in here. David Brumbelow. He's been pretty active over on my channel as well recently. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. JR, of course. What is up, my dude? He's dropping stuff left and right in the Discord. Donato Cabrera. Darren does things. How you doing, fam? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Let's see. Scrolling down, we got Ashka Tano. What is up to you? And BC Poor Corp, my dude. What is up to you? Hopefully, I got everybody. If I didn't, let me know in the chat, and I will get you later. Max Ross, what is up? You snuck in there.
Absolutely. He did. Sneaky. Actually, I don't know if you heard that big crashing sound. That was the sound of a 5'4" otter kicking in a wall, and then a thunderous roll of hundreds of otters coming into the chat. So shout out to the entire otter gang. Guys, drop those Alex O crypto otters down there in the chat. The whole otter gang just bum rushed us here. I feel assaulted, but I am not offended. I appreciate y'all being here. All right, let me go jump into the news. Let's knock this out. We got a lot to unravel today, and I know TradeFly and OC are going to crush some TA with you guys. So let's go jump into the news, knock this out, and we'll get back to them. And I'll be right back to you two. Don't go nowhere. TradeFly, don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. All right, thanks. Let's go jump over here and talk about the news, guys. Looking at the crypto market cap right now, we're sitting at $2.903 trillion. Trend on that is at $3.751 trillion for the mean average. We are currently 22.61% undervalued in the crypto space. Bitcoin is sitting at a wristband of about 53.3. That makes it a 2x DCA. We're going to talk about some DCA stuff today too, guys, specifically on Bitcoin. Let's go look at the market dominance right now for Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance sitting with stables at 63.92%, without stables sitting at 69.47, getting closer and closer to that 70% mark when you take away the stable coins. Fear and greed is right now at 59. We are in greed. Even though we're down, we're in greed. Keep that in mind. Our earnings this week, guys, I want to talk about those real fast here because one of them we're going to talk about today. If you look here, Palantir had their earnings yesterday, and now they're calling that Palantir may see another 25% move to the downside. Today, guys, we're looking at Arista, Rivian, AMD, Super Micro Computers, a lot of tech stuff. Ferrari, by the way, Ferrari said that they do not see how they are going to be an affordable car company with tariffs if they keep going on. And yeah, I don't disagree with that. They're already unaffordable. Although you can buy a Ferrari with Bitcoin versus a Lamborghini. You cannot. So keep that in mind. Let's go look at the Bitcoin liquidations. In the past 24 hours, 112,248 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $209 and $209.34 million. Excuse me. The largest single liquidation order happened on Binance. It was Bitcoin for $2.82 million. Looking at the crypto bubbles here on the daily, we got quite a bit of red here. Kicking over to the hourly, we are getting a little rebound, but it's not enough to recover on these dailies. Bitcoin's still down 0.2%, sitting just under $94,000. Ethereum is sitting, let's go there. Yeah, that's much better. Down 2.1% on the daily right now, sitting neutral on the hourly at just under 1,800 at 1,766. Let's go look for the big movers here. Big movers. No whammies. Sui is down negative 5.8% right now. It's at $3.23 right now. It has made a 1.3% rebound, though, after having a really good run up. Still down, though, 9.5% now on the weekly. So keep that in mind. Be aware. Be prepared. Chainlink down 2.6%. Leo token making a move up to number 14, still down on the hourly and the daily, though. Stellar Lumens XLM making a drop down to number 15 spot, down 2.6% neutral on the hourly. And I think that's about it for the top 20. No real big movers today. Litecoin did fall out of the top 20. It's now sitting at number 21 and down 6.6% today at $81.89. Let's go take a look at the stock side of the markets. See how that is all looking here. Dow Jones is currently down about 0.75%. S&P down about 0.8%. The NASDAQ down a full 1%. Russell 2K getting absolutely crushed on the small cap side, down negative 1.34%. And the VIX is in the green, above 20 at 24.52. This thing pushes up into the 30 over the next 24 hours with the FOMC. Expect a lot of people to get washed out of trades up and down, guys. FOMC does not do too well for longs or shorts. So sometimes not having a position is a position. We were talking about this. I'm not going to go into the article too much. This is Palantir. Analysts are calling for big declines in Palantir despite solid earnings. Goldman Sachs sees more than a 25% drop from here. The firm reported inline earnings and topped revenue estimates in the first quarter and upped its full-year outlook. CEO Alex Karp told investors on the company's earnings that Palantir is in the middle of a tectonic shift in adoption. But while a few analysts raised their price targets on the stock following the results, mainly maintained hold or sell equivalents, the Palantir may be overvalued is their biggest concern. Among those are Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Goldman sees more than a 27% downside. Morgan Stanley calls for nearly a 21% decline on Palantir. Might be time to check out the Discord and look at those that options training in there that Crypto Trades is setting up soon, because you may want to put in you may want to put some puts, and that means, you call up a friend, you put down the phone, puts. That would be how you short Palantir there. Let's go look at the economic calendar, talk about this today, guys. We had a balance of trade this morning. So how this is calculated is your imports minus your exports, okay? You can see right now we were at $401 billion for imports, was expected to be 417, came in a little bit higher, 419. That's to be expected, and I'm not too worried about all this, and I'll explain to you why in a second. Exports was expected to be 280. We was only 278. Came in flat with what it was in the previous report on that from the previous month. But that difference, guys, first of all, we had a nice little adjustment there. Where did my ticker go? Can I get my ticker back? Thanks. We had a nice little adjustment there from the previous report. It was at 122.7 billion. They revised that to 123.2 billion. So that got revised. And then they were expecting about 137, came in at 140. Why were they expecting this? And why am I not surprised by this or concerned? Because we had a lot of people that front ran the imports to beat the tariffs before they take effect. And so obviously we're going to have big imports coming in now versus the exports. So yeah, beat the tariffs, get that stuff ordered before it happens. May 9th is right around the corner. That's 3 days from now. And that is about the first time period that we're going to see the tariff effect in our pricing. Because April 9th, what was it? It was Liberation Day. And so it takes about 30 days for all of that cycle to come in from China, and that will be May 9th. So it's right around the corner for us. They were just front running that. No big concerns there. Tomorrow, guys, Fed conference, interest rate decision, and the Fed press conference with Jerome Powell. Jay Powell's going to open his mouth. Prices are going to go all over the place, and that's just how it goes every single time that we have one of these. Let's go take a look at what the expectations are on that. Looking at tomorrow, right now we're at a 96.9%. Let me refresh this, make sure this is current, because we did get that data this morning. It might play a little bit of effect. There we go. Nope, 98.2% chance that we stay flat tomorrow. No change at all to the rates. Let's look at June now, which I'm expecting is higher now also. Yep. 65.8% chance of no rate change in June, which means very likely continuing quantitative tightening. And then let's go look at July. This might be the first chance, but this was practically zero. It's now 20.9%. So as this data continues to come in, if we see inflation rise up, its ugly head off of the tariffs, then we will likely not see any rate cuts for a while. And we'll have to look and see. Have to wait and see. That's all it is. Let's go talk about some things over on X. I had a couple of things over here. By the way, if you guys have a full Bitcoin, put I don't know. Put a OC guy in the chat, guys. If you have more than one Bitcoin or more, because as of right now, less than 1 million people are holding one Bitcoin, which is kind of interesting when you hear everyone's buying. All these institutions are buying Bitcoin. It's not that many people that are actually buying. They're buying a lot, but they're not that many people actually buying up Bitcoin on a large scale. Only about 993,000 addresses have more than one Bitcoin. So just curious to see what you guys got there. OC guy, yep. I see tinfoil hat OC in there. That man's got Bitcoin. We know he does. That's all he relies on. We'll talk about this dollar cost average here in a little bit. Here we go. This is what I was talking about on the volatility before we jump over into the chart. This is from Rand Nooner. We are prepping for major volatility in tomorrow's FOMC. Both longs and shorts will be in trouble. And this is the performance of Bitcoin. For the last 12 FOMCs going back to 2023, day prior 1.75, day of 4.36, day after negative 4.5. You guys can see just based on this, the average on this is about 0.3, the negative 1.64 for the day prior percentage, and then the day after 2.54. That is a lot of up, down, up, down, up, down movement. So volatility, be very careful when you guys are trying to trade. And while you do see FOMC as an opportunity for quick volatility, sometimes too much volatility is not your friend. And I just want you guys to be prepared for that. Be ready. Let's go jump over into the Bitcoin chart real fast. I'll give an update on this, and then we'll talk about, we'll hand it over to the guys. So what I've been watching here on Bitcoin is that we do have this wonderful point of control right here. This is a local point of control pulled from like 22 April over. And this level here has been a pretty good one. You can see here, this is the level that I said, watch for a rejection. It's a 0.66, $97,500. We did break a little bit above that for a liquidity sweep over that range and then came back down, holding on this point of control right now. We did wick below it this morning. Got a lot of volatility on this one candle with some decent volume, and then it pumped up. I think we're going to turn back around. Where do I think we're going to go first? I think we're going to head down first. And here's the reason why. We have the CME gap. I actually posted this yesterday on a response to Geo on X, and then someone said, where did we get this other CME gap from? That's not from a weekend. And I said, no, it actually came from a Tuesday to a Wednesday. And yes, while that's not normal, it's pretty odd to see a big gap like that. We do have a gap below us nonetheless. It has cleaned out to about 92,560 on here, but we do still have the rest of this range down here that needs to be filled while we're holding this May 2nd CME gap sitting right above us. So don't be surprised to see us come down here, maybe get a bounce at that point, and that would be the point that I would watch. That's about 91,600. What does that do on the chart? 91,600. Oh, look, it's the 50% fib after getting that rejection. If we get a bounce here, that's a bullish move on Bitcoin. So, all right, let's go jump back over here to Trio Cam. TradeFly, I'm going to kick it over to you to talk about what you're seeing on Bitcoin and where you think these levels are going to go, keeping in mind, I know you got that heat map. I don't know if you have it pulled up. I don't see it, but I didn't pull it up because I figured you'd want to talk about that before you talked about your levels. And then we'll have OC coming behind. I want to talk about gold because we do have an article talking about gold and Bitcoin today. So if we can get you over there with Bitcoin, have OC do some sprinkle on there of what he's seeing, and then jump into some gold. Look, we'll talk about that. TradeFly, what do you got for us, bro?
Right on. Let's go ahead and get this heat map going. So first thing, liquidity is on both the top and the bottom side of price action right now. So it would be hard for me to make an analysis and say that liquidity is really going to drive the price action because, I mean, you can see it's pretty significant on both sides, right? So you got some hot spots building up at about 95, 350. That's actually lower than it was before. It was up around 98, and it's just kind of working its way down. It's getting hotter and hotter, and it looks like people are getting confident that the price action may start to work down. But the problem is there's also people that think it's going to work up. So like here it is at 92,750. Been tracking that one for a minute, but it's even getting hot a little bit closer. So people are a little bit crazy right now, but it does mean that people are still interested in entering the market. I mean, this is probably the hottest I have seen the map in months, right? And I'm saying it on both sides. It's usually you'll see it very distinctly on one side or the other. So is it going to be what drives price action? I don't know that it is. It is very interesting to see it this hot before you get some volatility in the market, right? We know FOMC is coming out today, or they're going to be having that today, right? So like, why are so many people getting into the market? It's usually kind of the inverse. I have always noticed, and the percentages are now proving that point, is that you actually have a little bit of a cool down going into these meetings. So here you go. You got liquidity, top, bottom, left, right, all over the place. Really hard to say based on that. Now we're coming over to the price action. Let's see what's going on. There's a level here that has been respected quite a bit. So value area low. All right. So you've got the fixed range volume profile on, talking about when it comes into the range. And I actually extended it out through the whole range. I know that this little piece here may skew the numbers slightly, but really it doesn't skew the point of control. The point of control remains the same. I do have it set on 60, just so you guys know. So it may look different than yours if you have it on 70. But I mean, look at this range. It is consolidating. There's no doubt about it. It did have a nice little push up, but here nor there, this is the range that you got to keep your eye on, honestly. So you're looking for it to break 95.2. Now, 95.2 aligns with a few things. It is a very nice horizontal level. When you do zoom out a little bit on the daily, you can see that this level is something that I've been watching for quite some time. You can see it very clearly, support, resistance. It's going back and forth here, but ultimately the thing that really drew me into that level was the rejection. Okay, so it came back up for the retest, and it was a very sharp rejection with a breakdown in price, right? So it then went all the way down, right? That lets me know that that level is actually key to a lot of this, all right? And then when we came back up, here you go again, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it was rejected off of that level before it finally pumped through, right? And when you get those moves that have some authority, a little bit of oomph behind them, then you know, again, this level is key. So what do? We came back down. We got stuck underneath of it again. So that's the level. Like, if I'm going to say, hey, if there's a level on your charts to mark, 95.2 is the one I'd say to mark. Not only that, you have obviously this local horizontal. Then you have this aligns really with the 50 SMA, just to kind of give you some context of, what is this? This is the moving average shift by Chart Prime. It's a free indicator. I do like it a lot. But you can see it aligns mostly with the 50, and that is adding to some of the confluence here. That's going to add a little bit of resistance. All right. So it's going to be probably some tough sledding, but right here at the bottom, look at how tight this is. The point of control of the range, all right, as well as the value area low, as well as a trend line that goes back through this entire range. You can see it is knocked on this door quite a few times. You can see it's been support over and over and over again. So you're really starting to get a squeeze. You're getting essentially an ascending triangle going into a horizontal level that it's retested multiple times, and now we are moving with some authority. I'm very interested on why this movement is happening. I mean, we've already bumped up about $1,000 already, just pre-show to now. So very, very interesting. We are trying to make a move, it looks like. But again, you are going to have some resistance. So I wouldn't say take a long in this position right here. Let it break. You know what to do. You wait for that old OC retest. Looks something like this, comes down, retest, and then we'll work our way up. What's the next level for you? It's going to be the previous point of control. And that's just of this tighter range right here. And I actually think this one goes all the way back to the range that we were stuck in for months. So let me go back to validate that. Yes. All right. So the range here that we were stuck in for months upon months, right? This point of control right here actually aligns with this level here. So I think you're going to find a little bit of resistance as it works its way up. I mean, look at how it actually aligns with this one as well. So it's like a double point of control, which is very interesting. So again, I think that's going to be your area for a little bit of resistance here in the near term. I do want to cover the NASDAQ as well. And the reason I want to look at the NASDAQ is because we are at an area of resistance. Now, you guys know there is going to be a little bit of a correlation between the traditional markets as well as the NASDAQ, right? That risk on, risk off type asset. But we have been following the NASDAQ. I mean, if you just look at the price action right here, they both came down to their lows about the same time. They've both been progressively moving their way up about the same time. Now, this one won't be as volatile in a sense, but just what I want you to see is this level right here. Now, this, again, key level for you guys to mark on your charts, around 78 to 79. Please mark that on your charts. That's going to tell you a lot about price action. I think the more logical move would be to the downside, but that has a lot to do with the things that are coming out today, right? We know about some of the free trade agreements that just got announced this morning and yesterday, right? There was 2 major ones, and then we're going into FOMC. So what are you looking for? You're looking for either the rejection rate here, and this is basically a no trade right now at current time frame, because you need some more bearish structure coming off of this, or you're looking for that breakout retest. Now, in your mind, are we ready to come up and retest some of these all-time highs again I would say no, not with the current economic situation. So for me, my bias would still be for a rejection. If we don't get it here, then I'm looking at the point of control. That's a little higher at about 81. But ultimately, I just don't think we're ready to retest these highs for the NASDAQ. So can we bump up a little bit? Yes. Is it as likely? I'd say no, just statistical probabilities. And that's just kind of where I'm sitting right now. So I don't know that we'll get a very aggressive move up for Bitcoin, anywhere past where we've already been. So again, these are some of the levels for you to look at. Again, you're not again, but I didn't really talk about it. Your major level of resistance really starts at about 98. Okay, so 98 all the way up to 100K psychological area. Keep that in mind. That's a big line in the sand. And then for your bottom side, again, liquidity is down 92,750. That's kind of the bulk of it. And then you start this range right here. So that's kind of an area I would look for a bounce, some support. I think you could take a swing trade in that area. I'd say your higher confidence play, if you're taking a swing trade, is actually a little further down, your quarterly pivot, as well as the 0.382. That keeps your bullish structure in an uptrend. And then you're retesting the highs of the previous range. So that is about, I'd say, 89.5 all the way down to about 88.7. All right, not a huge range, but a little bit of a range there. That's the area I'm really concentrating on. And you also have the 200 SMA working its way up quite aggressively, building confluence in that area for a swing trade. So that is what I am looking at for Bitcoin, NASDAQ, heat map, and I will pass it on to the next guy.
Awesome. So I want to talk about the correlation here between gold and Bitcoin, because right now I do think we're going to go a little bit lower. I want to talk about that real fast, and then we're going to get into a full circle of connection here. The cycle I'm watching closely with Bitcoin and gold. So let's jump over here, talk about this first, why I think we will see a little bit of downside first, guys. Bitcoin price forms two Bitcoin futures gaps, which I've already showed you, after Coinbase's premium flips negative. So what does that mean for price action? Bitcoin's Coinbase Premium Index, which measures the gap between Bitcoin price at Coinbase Pro and Binance Exchange, turned negative after a 15-day positive stint, signaling potential bearish sentiment among U.S. investors. This drop coincides with Bitcoin slipping below 94,000, and the premium's decline suggests reduced buying pressure on Coinbase, which is viewed as a proxy for both institutional retail demand. That negative premium does scream that we are likely going to see a little bit of sell pressure. That's why I think going down to that lower level could be what happens here, tapping that 50%. Anytime we tap a 50% fib from the upside and get a bounce on it, super bullish in my opinion. That would go down and clean out a majority of that CME gap that's below us and then send us higher. So spot on with what you're seeing there on your chart there, TradeFly. But let's go talk about this here, because we have DCA into Bitcoin, right? That's what we always hear. That's what we do over in our Discord. We have the dynamic DCA, which you're actually doing better, because this one here, they're talking about dollar cost average performance over the past 3 years. U.S. stocks 11.16%, gold 59.19%, Bitcoin 177%, and this is based on just $25 per week. It would now be worth over $11,000. We have the one that the lower the wristbands go on the chart, the more you DCA in, guys. And this is all based off of the Into the Cryptoverse heat maps, right? You can see that the lower it goes into these blue colors, the more you're going to do. You're actually going to go in and do like a times 5, times 6, so on and so forth. We have absolutely crushed this. This is a Bitcoin one right here, just from February 10th. And you can see the lower that we go into the rings, the more you buy, right? Times 2, times 1, whatever it may be. So DCA is the way. But let's talk about gold, because I want to talk about what will Bitcoin price be if gold hit 5K, okay? OC, I know you got that Bitcoin chart ready to go, that gold chart, I mean. Let's talk about what you're seeing on gold, and then let's talk about what Bitcoin could do if gold continues to perform, because we've already seen this beautiful picture here. Let me bring this up. This is the S&P versus gold versus Bitcoin through major geopolitical events. We're going through another one right now. The geopolitical events is like that's our environment. If you look at the U.S. Iran escalation back in January 2020, Bitcoin in the 10-day return, 12%. On a 60-day return, 20% versus 6% for gold, negative 7% for SPX. Okay. COVID outbreak, yeah, they all got crushed in that 10-day period. Gold, Bitcoin more than anything. Gold kind of held up better. But by the end of 60 days, Bitcoin was up 21% from that bottom. Gold 3%, S&P 2%. 2020 election challenges from Trump. After 10 days, Bitcoin was up 19%. After 60 days, Bitcoin was up 131%. Russia invasion of Ukraine. Bitcoin did not do as well in that 10-day period, but by the 60-day, beating everything else, right? And this continued on with the U.S. regional bank crisis, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin on the 10-day, the 60-day. The only one that we haven't seen anything on, and the data was not in at the time of this print, but it is out now. This is the Japanese carry trade unwinding, okay? And mind you, S&P did a little bit better in the first 10-day period. Gold and Bitcoin were both at zero. But if you look at the 60-day return, the winner of that one was gold. Guys, second place was Bitcoin, greatly outperforming the S&P. But let's go talk about, let's go look at gold, OC, and then let's talk about this article and see what Bitcoin could be at if it continues to show the strength that we've seen with not dropping as much as the stock market. TradFi is showing some strength, and it's showing that it may be at the start point of that hedge adoption that is digital gold. So let's go see what you got on your chart, and we'll come back and talk about this. You're muted.
And I gotta be muted. So yesterday we were talking about how Bitcoin was performing, right? And also throughout the last week, I mentioned that I believe that this cycle is a little bit different because the new traders, us, right, are taking over. And why do I do new trader us? Because if you just look at traditional trader, he will be going for metals, securities, and I mean, and maybe Forex or something like that, right? But at this point, the ones that we were born within these few years, I think we have on our radar Bitcoin. And for many of us, Bitcoin is like the digital gold, right? We have that standard all the way up there. So when we see fear in the markets, we know this asset was created to withstand, or at least to combat, right, this kind of geopolitical scenarios, right? Nonetheless, take a look at gold in here. We see that we were expecting two major movements, either a bounce of the dynamic reactor, which was plan A, which already played out, or plan B, going back to previous areas of support, right? And this loan was still kind of like on its still available, right? So for now, let's just get rid of it. I mean, it still can manage to get all the way down here, but so far we're seeing that we have putting down a new, or at least a base, a support in here, right? We are taking previous highs in here, but we are not taking the meaningful high there. So, yep, we're breaking up. It's not about your breakout. I was expecting a little bit early retest, and then off we go. But as you can see, we're getting to target as we speak, right? So let's bring up a couple of other things into my screen. Let's get started first with the reversal area where we are at, right? This is looking like what happened here. So I would be expecting a further move to the upside before we have maybe a next rejection. We could be looking at an inverted Adam and Eve, right? So why? Because look at the V shape that we have in here. And if we follow the same pattern right down here, which could be the same one here, it is more like a rounded top, right? So if we have that rounded top, we're going to be having the V shape recovery or the V shape retracement plus the rounded top at that point. Let me just clear this up. There we go. And then let's bring up our resistances. We are right now on previous weekly high because we are basically hitting that high at that point. What else do we have in here? We have premium all the way up, so nothing really that much to worry about. We have a trend line that we already have broke out, retest, off we go, then find support, double bottom, and then off we go. So that trend line is not longer viable at this point. When we get here, It will be again important, but so far not much. We have broken the golden lining here, and we're going for the center. Usually the center line, the blue line, is the one that gets crossed the most times. So I'm going to be expecting something like that, bouncing off the next golden line. Remember, the most important range, it is between the golden lines when we're talking about predictive ranges. Another important thing is that we have a high order block. Yes, it is bearish, highly bearish, but still, if we bounce back down in here, we can still have another chance to bounce up. And then if we bounce back down, that's when we have taken the 18% out bullish equation. So the only thing left, it is bearish, so basically going back to some lower points in here. So that's what I got on gold. My most important target is going to be previous high, somewhere around 3,500, and then my next most important target is going to be 3,435. Although since 3,435 is closer, I'm going to be more into that area for now until either we reject or go through.
Nice. And if you remember when we broke that, when we started hitting that $3,000 level, which was the level I was talking about last year on gold, I started talking about this $5,000 level on Bitcoin. I mean, on gold. I was like, look, it can easily go to 5,000. If, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Dust. This is why I'm leaving El Paso. I'm moving. That's why. Right there. Dust. I think that we could be looking at a $5,000 gold. And if we look at the lagging follow that Bitcoin has been doing with gold historically, in the last year, we could really see some movement on Bitcoin. So let's go talk about this and see what we could be looking at. What would Bitcoin price be if gold hits $5,000? Gold's potential march towards $5,000 raises the stakes for Bitcoin, with historical trends hitting at a surge to $155,000 or beyond if the conditions align. Key takeaways: Bitcoin has historically outperformed gold recently by sixfold. Gold's climb towards $5,000 could set the stage for significant Bitcoin gains, and a weakening U.S. dollar and rising global liquidity remain key drivers for both assets. What can happen with the price of Bitcoin, touted as digital gold by many, at the precious metal surges even higher to that $5,000 mark and beyond? Bitcoin price jumped 6x last time gold rallied. Bitcoin has historically delivered a far more substantial return than gold when their market rallies happen concurrently. So from March 2020 to March 2022, during the Federal Reserve's ultra-loose monetary policies, Bitcoin's price surged approximately 1,110%. Gold only a mere 35.5% move. November 2022 to November 2023 rally coinciding with rising global money supply. Gold gained about 25%, while Bitcoin jumped by about 150%, or nearly a 6x performance level above and beyond what gold did. Gold's climb from its current value from $3,265 to $5,000 would be about a 50% gain. A little bit less than that, actually. But so if history repeats, Bitcoin could grow by 300%, or to a price of about $285,000 per Bitcoin. That would align with APSK 32's projected Bitcoin price target, which is based on the power law normalized structure. But the gold boom could push Bitcoin towards that $250,000, according to a veteran fund manager, Frank Holmes, CEO of U.S. Global Investors. He sees gold heading to $6,000 during Trump's presidential turn, arguing that bullion has lagged behind the global M2 money supply, a lot like what we see with Bitcoin. He links this bold target to Trump's tariffs policies, which he believes will weaken the U.S. dollar by around 25%, boosting gold's appeal alongside strong central bank demand and underweight investor positionings. So Holmes predicts that Bitcoin could break through that $97,000 range overhang and climb to $120,000 to $150,000 in the near term, with the longer term potential hitting that $250,000 mark, guys. If you look here in late April, gold climbed to $3,500. It was up about 33.35%. It has corrected slightly, which we're seeing another bounce here. But in comparison, Bitcoin was only up about 0.82%. I want to point out something here, though. And this is the whole point of this. Bitcoin was up 0.82%, but in that time period, guys, Bitcoin held much closer to its all-time high than most of the stock market did. And a lot of the stock market is still not even back above their 200-day simple moving average, where Bitcoin has reclaimed that and moved its way back up. So if Bitcoin's past behavior following gold after a lag suggests a possible move, we could see an absolute rush to Bitcoin as they see that it is holding up stronger. It's becoming a defensive asset at least. And one of the articles I saw today on CNBC Pro was talking about Walmart stock, that it does well in either type of environment. Why? Because when people are doing well, they buy more, Walmart stock goes up. When the economy is tight, people go cheap. And where's the cheap stuff at? Well, that's also Walmart, right? You also see it with like Costco, healthcare. Those are defensive plays. I do think that a reason that we've seen Bitcoin hold up so well against the stock market this time around is because people are starting to see Bitcoin as a defensive play. So if we get gold up to $5,000, $6,000 range over the next year, year and a half, we could absolutely see a parabolic run on Bitcoin. Now, which altcoins will move with it, that's hard to tell. There's about 36 million of them. Put a bunch of balloons on the wall, throw a dart, and whatever you hit, risk management, right? That's all I can say on that. But overall, I do think that Bitcoin is the is one to watch in the crypto space, and then use some risk management on your exposure to altcoins. So. That is about all I wanted to talk about there on Bitcoin. I just think that it's got this beautiful setup going right now. It's showing some strength in these markets, and I think that if we continue to see gold going up, I think ultimately, overall, we might see a bottoming around January 2026. I think by mid 2026 to late 2026, quarter three, not quarter four, quarter three, I think we have to start seeing a rebuild phase going on for the economy. Why? Because it's going to take about a year and a half, a year to a year and a half to really re-strengthen and show, look at this growth off of the plan. If there's to be a Republican-led run for presidency in 2028, they cannot do that with a totally crushed economy. So I think by mid 2026, we see that rebuild phase going on, and then you really will be poised for a parabolic run, which would be odd because why? 2026 is typically based on the 4-year cycle, your crypto winter, and we could actually see a parabolic run up happening at that point. Tradefly, your thoughts on that? OC, I'll pass it over to you if you have any input on that too. But we'll go Tradefly first. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion on whether the cycle is actually different this time. I'm not going to call it broken, but definitely it appears as though it's moving a little bit different than we've seen before. And I think a lot of it stems all the way back to getting that ETF approved, where we had that run up a little bit early before the halving, which wasn't really expected. And now, inevitably there's going to be a little bit of a sell off, a little bit of a cool off once you got up to that psychological area of 100K. But the biggest thing for me is going back to like the DCA thing, right? Like, where do you see yourself in a few years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years for Bitcoin? And for me, it's still going to be higher than the current price level. As this gets more scarce, as it becomes more rare, that it's simple supply and demand. That is why so many people are so bullish on Bitcoin, is because it's a finite asset. There will never be more than what there is right now. There will only be less, right? Because it will get lost. It will magically just disappear. People will lose it. They'll lose their keys. Like, even though that's small proportions, it's inevitably, I think it's going to be higher, and something very dramatic happens, which I don't think there is. That is why the institutional investment, the institutional rush to get into cryptocurrency and really Bitcoin is daddy, right? That's the North Star. So yeah, man, like I don't get too tied around the cycles. I've had this conversation with a few people. Yes, it is a thing. Yes, it's something you can kind of plan around. But it's really having that long-term vision. And that is why I have increased my HODL portfolio, vice just trading. Like, I was strictly just a trader, and now I'm kind of like split on what I'm doing right now, because the long-term vision is saying, hey, this is Apple. I invested in 2009. Where do I see this in 10 years? That's how I'm treating Bitcoin at this point.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Rookie numbers. Hey, shout out to FD White. I saw him in the chat a little while ago. Shout out to FD White. If you guys don't follow him, you need to do so. And if you guys don't follow Tradefly, you need to go over and subscribe to his channel. Tradefly is doing great stuff over there with his chart setups, man. He's crushing it. The Tradefly channel, the flight corridor over there is a great thing to see every day on the charts. So, guys, go check out Tradefly and make sure you go follow FD White also. If you haven't done so yet, smash that like button, guys, because we got rookie numbers right now on those likes. So
those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Guys, smash that like. It helps us out a lot. All right, OC, your thoughts on this, and then we'll go over and let you guys knock out an altcoin that you're watching right now closely. But what's your thoughts on this? Is Bitcoin poised to adopt that full run on as digital gold? What do you think?
I think so. I mean, yesterday also in the Piper Academy Discord, we were talking about that, or I was mentioning that that Bitcoin at this point is not longer what it used to be, right? So we also were talking about the importance, right? Why is people adopting it? Well, I believe mainly now because it is both freedom money, and also because it has some characteristics that looks like gold, right? So basically it's just like gold portable. So nobody but with the difference that here nobody can really choke the supply unless miners really wanted to, but they really needed to get together and do it, just like real gold miners, right? But at this point, well, then I think that this is not gonna be money. This is not at all. We're not gonna be buying coffee with Bitcoin, and I think that's all right. That's okay. I mean,
Nope.
as long as it holds, and as long as it holds, it's like standard for what it should be and how it should be behaving. That'll be great because we also talked about a couple of classes ago that USDC wants to do some chargeback concept, right? I love it and I hate it because this is like fiat all over again, right? That's why, I mean, so for us to trust on a piece of paper, it needed to be backed up on gold. Now they debacked it up on gold and they put in economy factor of a country to back it up, right? So at this point, I think Bitcoin needs to be that. How are we backing Bitcoin up? And this is food for thought. It is fiat. How do you get your Bitcoin? There's only two ways to do it, and both of those require fiat. And again, that is fine because we are transferring real world value to an asset that is digital. We need to make that connection. First, you either go deposit, get either crypto directly, right? Or exchange it for a stable coin and then get crypto directly, or Bitcoin, or you mine it. But to mine it, you need to spend fiat on equipment. And then also you need to spend fiat on electricity, which again, it's fine because we want to tie it up with what it already exists to then migrate that value from one point to another. Just to wrap it up, I think, yes, it's going to get to the gold standard. I don't think that it's going to be quick. And I think we still need to see the financial system start crumbling. Quick tinfoil advice: check out the last two covers from The Economist. One of those measures 1,000 something days from now, which lines up with 2030 around ish. 20, yeah. So I don't know. That's their calculations. Just consider checking them out. And yeah, that's it. That's my opinion.
Awesome. Yeah, I will say this. I always talk about, I've yet to hear anyone ever go, I tried to go buy Bitcoin and they were sold out, but I do think the time will come in my lifetime. I think you'll see a limited amount, or if it's not limited, it's going to be very expensive, which will limit how much you can get. But at the end of the day, I think yeah, it's right now it's easier to buy Bitcoin than it is to buy physical gold, and that's where we are with the adoption of digital gold as Bitcoin. So, Tradefly, I know you got to hop out, man. Let's go kick it over to you. What altcoin are you watching right now? What's piquing your interest? What do you got on the chart, man?
All right, we got to bring it back. Old school, baby. Looking at Solana here. Man, dude, we had some really nice calls on Solana. Won't beat that up too much, but man, we grabbed some down at 100. That was a super, super nice play. But what I'm looking at right now is a very significant level of resistance. All right, now that starts about 154, 155 up to about 162. All I'm doing is straight going back to the horizontals here. All right, so you go back left on the chart and you start looking at it, start analyzing. You know, I challenge you to do this. Is go look and like, all right, cool, very, very clear support, very clear resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, 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 support. Oh, hold on, bounce. All right, so you get that big bounce right there. That's just basically validating your area. So we've identified this area and like, let's do this. All right, I just want it's a learning experience here. Cool, we've identified a pretty sweet zone there. And then we're like, all right, big bounce, cool, price goes up. Where do you think price is going to find support when it works its way all the way back down, or at least try? Right here. Look, see how you got the bounce there? It tried, and then we had a big breakdown. So you had a nice bounce up, a big breakdown out of that area. That lets you know that this is a key level. All right. So then you can anticipate like what happens when price comes back up. Well, you're probably going to find a rejection. Boom. There it is. Now you're looking at it and you're like, oh, that's not very big moves. Well, I would argue that most traders would take a 10% move all day, every day, right? So you got a nice little 10% move up, rejection, come back down, and now you're coming back to a nice little level of support. Again, what am I doing? Coming back left on the chart. Where do I see support and resistance? There's your resistance. There's your support, resistance, correction, resistance, support, right? So found another key level. Cool. All right. Also, too, you're coming down here and looking to the bottom side of the zone. Look at this. Very clear. Support and resistance again, right? These zones for Solana play out quite well. You're testing that area now. So this is, again, I'm going to give you something to put in your charts and see how it interacts with this zone. All right. And analyze it, right? Just wait a second. Let's see what it does. If it breaks down, then you're almost surely coming back down to these levels here. And this is my buy zone. This has been fire. And honestly, even when I was doing shows on Piper Academy every morning, this was it. This was our moneymaker. Right around 121 was really my line in the sand. But I mean, we've made money off of this. We had a great call when it initially made its pump up to 200 or above 200. But the exit for me was 200. So coming back to this is like, hey, if we come back down to these levels, let's say Bitcoin does pull back, like there could be, there's definitely a definitive possibility right now, then this is the zone you really want to concentrate on. If you lose this zone, it comes back down to 100. But this is where I would probably, not probably, like I'm going to take a play here, whether it's small capital. It probably will be, only because we've just hit it so many damn times and we fell through at one point. But the reason we fell through here was not anything that was going on. It was because there was liquidity down here. Now, when you hit this zone 6-7 times and you have significant moves off of it, what do you think people are doing? They're putting stop losses, right? And then they're also, their liquidation areas are going to be down here as well. They get comfortable and they're like, all right, cool. Like I can do a 35 to 40x play thinking that this will be support. And then their liquidity will be sitting down here. All right, this is where they'll get liquidated. So that's exactly what happened. This is why I thought this was going to happen at some point, was because they needed to clear all this liquidity that was sitting there. It's gone now. All right, so the incentive to, I think, come down underneath of this buy zone is a lot less than it used to be, because all that liquidity, and we're talking about, hundreds of millions, maybe even close to $1 billion of, dollars were sitting in this area, is now gone. All right. So again, I think this is the zone for you really to watch. If you get a pullback, that is something I would key in on. And that really goes from 126 to about 119. That's kind of an area, again, that I'm keying on myself. It's been a money printer for me. So I want to point that out to you guys. Please mark that on your charts. And that's really what I'm looking at. If I'm trying to predict where this is going to go, that's really, Bitcoin's a North Star right now. So let's put a little fib. I think the 0.382 lines up, with the 50. All right, so you get the 0.382 and the zone right here. So getting a bounce out of this area would make a lot of sense from a technical perspective. But again, this is your area to concentrate on. All right, and that's what I'm looking at for Solana.
Awesome. Appreciate that, bro. OC, we're about at the time period here. We got about 1 minute before we run over to see Crypto Princess. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm sorry you didn't get your alt in today, OC. But TradeFly, we appreciate you dropping in with us today, man. It's always great to have you here sitting on the Academy panel, man. What do you got for the people on the way out there, TradeFly?
Hey man, as always, it's great mixing up with you guys. I love being here. It's just a matter of the schedule. So I try to get over when I can. It's great seeing everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here. Much love. Definitely smash the like button. And this channel is always still home for me. Hope that everyone feels the same way. But I'm gonna get out of here. You guys take care, and of course, trade safe, be safe. I'm out.
Awesome. Appreciate you being here, TradeFly guy. If you guys don't follow him, go follow him. OC, I appreciate you always being here with me every day, man. I want to leave the people with something on the way out and why I'm still concerned about the markets, regardless of what we're seeing on, regaining some strength. We still haven't made higher highs. We're still looking at this as from the perspective that this is just bear market rallies of lower highs, setting up for the next lower low. Looking here, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the U.S. has not engaged with China at all in trade negotiations at all. Bessent says the U.S. has 18 very important trade relations, and he is currently negotiating with 17 of them. China is the one partner with no ongoing negotiations at this time. So, guys, be very careful in the markets. We're going to be watching tomorrow closely on the FOMC. OC and I, of course, will be back in the morning to go over that, break that all down, what's going on with for the day, and see what articles are saying. I don't think we're going to see any rate cuts tomorrow, which means no quantitative easing yet. Make sure you guys tune in tonight. Check out OC, Trade Live with OC. Hopefully his internet is working tonight, and you guys will be able to catch that. And then tonight, also later in the evening, Markets After Dark with LBC tomorrow morning. Good Morning Crypto with BC Port Corp, and OC and I will be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. OC, what do you got for the people on the way out, man?
Not much, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for stopping by. And a quick reminder to smash that like button, because when you do it in the Piper Academy, they give you power-ups. So do you remember, like, when you buy a new shirt and then don't use it for a couple of, 3 months, and then magically the shirt shrinks, right? So
I hate that. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It must be the moisture on the air or something. So click that like button, and thus unfitted shirts is going to start fitting now. Don't believe me?
I heard if you smash the like button and go for a daily walk, those two powers combined will make your shirt always fit you. Appreciate you, OC. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, guys. We're about to go raid Crypto Princess. She's about to go live. Actually, she's going live right now. So we'll see you guys over there when you get there. Drop those graduation caps. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes and satellites. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step fall back to offline,
those are rookie numbers in this racket.
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off to get with them. The ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
You can't handle the truth.
That was awesome, dude.